Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to introduce you to an upcoming project. This is a 1974 Volkswagen Super Beetle sedan or hardtop. The original color of this car was green. I apologize, it's quite windy right now. Hopefully the microphone isn't playing around too much with the wind. So this was originally a green car. It's here for a total ground up restoration. It's had quite a few modifications done to it. It's been in a collision previously, and its original drum brakes on the front. So basically what we're going to do is just want to introduce you to the car, and then we're going to do a thorough inspection on it. We always like to check lights, signals, high beams, the engine operation, perform a compression test, and do a general inspection before we do the disassembly. And then as we're disassembling the vehicle, our client that owns this car lives quite far away, so we'll be continually giving them updates as we are working on this car. The Super Beetle has the wider front hood. It has a flat tire, so the tire lays flat, the spare tire, inside, as opposed to the standard Beetles, which are approximately 3 inches narrower in the front, and the spare tire stands up. In the Super Beetle, it's McPherson strut suspension. And then we've got the bigger tray for the tire to fit down underneath. The client gave us some old original parts with the car when he dropped it off, and then you can see on the inside here there's been quite a bit of work done. You can see it has the original green paint from the factory, and then back in here you can see where there's been a lot of hammer work. I think the camera can probably pick it up. So it's had a fairly decent impact here at one point in its life. And then they just kind of hammer and dollied it out kind of close, and then just sprayed some primer over top. And then we can see we've got quite a gap in here, and this molding used to be this fender welt. You can see where it's black underneath, and it goes between the body and the fender, and they've just painted over top of it, which is quite common back then. And you can see all the rubber grommets have been painted over. So not the greatest body and paint job, but back in the day, it was probably just to keep the car going. It's got the bigger bumpers. Being a 74, it has the bigger bumpers on the front with the shocks that are built in for absorption and safety standards. We're probably going to freshen it up. We'll change the opening of the fender, and we're probably going to put some more of a California style bumpers front and rear for the customer, just to give it a cleaner look. In the video it probably looks like it's in decent shape, but the paint is faded really bad, and all of the rubber has shrunk, but the bones of the car seem to be in quite nice condition. There's been a lot of little minor modifications done over the years, and then we're probably going to bring it back to mostly original condition. You can see it's got mirrors on both sides. They've replaced the running boards with an aluminum style running board, and then they've got a decal package that they've added. And then we look on the inside, you can see there's no stereo in it now. The dash on the driver's side is worse than the passenger side. It has some cracking, and they have dash tops available now. Decent reproduction to repair that. And then you can see the seats have been changed. These are an aftermarket seat they call Pro Car. So they're a little bit different style seat, and our client's probably going to want to go back to almost original. And we've been discussing going back to the original rare interior color with the green on the exterior. So our client has a birth certificate for the car. When they painted it, they painted the blue basically all around to cover most of the green. But you can see in here there's still a lot of green popping through and bleeding through where they masked and stuff, and then there's overspray all over the trim. But quite a solid car so far. And as we come around to the back, you see it's got the chrome coated steel wheels, and then the back we've got the bigger tail lights. And then in the back here you can see, hopefully the wind doesn't affect the microphone too much, you can see all of this paint that is flaking and peeling off, and you can see along here too, and that's just from not preparing it. You can see the original green. I think the camera can pick it up. So what's happening is the blue paint's reacting against the original green, and it's just peeling away. In the back it looks pretty much stock in terms of the big bumpers and the bumperettes. You can see there's some fasteners holding the rubber on. And then we look at the engine lid. It's got some adjustment there. On the inside you can see they've done some modifications also, and we're probably going to bring it back to more of original state. There's some things that are a little bit on the barbaric side. I think the camera can pick it up. This is a rear apron patch panel, and you can see there's pop rivets here, and you've got big gaps here, and this is actually sitting on top. This piece is on top of the original rear apron. So what they've done is they've basically trimmed it, because you can see here where there's a big gap. See the big space along here, the opening. So what they've done is they've basically just got a sheet of metal and they've put it over top of whatever's rusted down below and pop riveted on, and then just painted over top. And then you can see we got the fender welt kind of loose and pulling away there. But the engine itself, what we'll do is we'll perform a compression test to get a starting point. They've changed quite a few things on it, both cosmetically and in terms of carburation. So we'll do a compression test and an oil pressure test, and then once we have those numbers, it'll just help us later on when we decide to rebuild it and exactly how the client would like it done. You can see on the underside it still has green on the edges, and they've just used, looks like an aerosol can of black over top, and you can still see all the green. So we'll take care of all that. We'll see what's all going on later with the disassembly, what's happening with that rear apron. And then you'll notice they have an aftermarket exhaust system. You can see they got the tailpipe sticking out way over on the one side, and then the other one is way over on this side. So it's an aftermarket exhaust system, and this was quite a neat thing to do back in its day, where you gave it some personalization underneath the hood with some blue stuff and some chrome and some billet, and then having the pipes changed just to give it a little more personality. So I'll just kind of point out the differences. It's not stock so far in terms of 74 Volkswagen Super Beetle, but then you can see there's some nice touches. For example, this side window, the camera can probably pick it up, it has the hinge. So they've changed it to a hinge style side windows, which is a really nice feature on warmer days. But then when you look close, you can see when they went to paint the car, you can see the masking line where the green is. So when they went to mask to paint it, to change it from green to blue, you can see where they kind of missed with the taping. And on the inside, once we start the disassembly, we'll have a better idea of how strong it is structurally and floors and so on. And then you can see we've got some cracking in the top of the dash. Very, very common in this style of Volkswagen Super Beetle, where we get a lot of, it looks like there was something there at one point, but a lot of cracking and splitting just from the sun, and there's a crack in the middle. But we'll look closer as we get further on with the disassembly. So once again, this is a 1974 Volkswagen Super Beetle sedan. I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.